guys? How are you doing?
Feeling good. Hutz has a great story. I forgot that Hutz backed up one game in Philadelphia, Hutz. So why don't you share that story first?
Yeah, Hartsy, I don't know if you remember that, but I got called up one time. I was emergency backup, and we were playing the Devils, and I was backing up for Boucher. And I remember I ended up going out that night. Me and Billy Lano were in a hotel. So they brought me out. We went to some little pub in Philly, and I was like just a fly on the wall, right? I was fresh out of school. I had no clue what I was doing. And by the end of the night, you had me behind the bar just getting my own beers. Like I would walk over, get my own beers. And to boot, it was fan appreciation night. And we did shirt off your back. So they line us, they line us up on the line. Like they bring out all the fans. And we had like you, Gagne, Giroux, Pronger, like all these legends. Every fan's winning like a cool Flyers jersey. And this poor sucker, this old guy, flips open his envelope and he's got Carter Hutton and he's got to come over him like, I get this guy's jersey.
Hey, it's a National Hockey League jersey. You can't be mad at that. And then I just wanted to show you that you're in the National League. You can do basically whatever you want. Right?
Very well said. So we're getting set for this Leafs-Flyers game. How you feeling about this one? Obviously, it's been a tough second half here for the Flyers.
Yeah, it's, kind of the highs and lows of the Flyers and, many other teams too, right? They come out of the Four Nations break. They win like 5 in a row and, a few games over 500. You're like, oh, and then the trade deadline happens and, they lose Kuzmenko. Scotty Laughton goes to the Leafs. They trade Frost and Farabee a month before that. And it's like, you lose these key pieces to the room and they haven't recovered. It's, a different room now. I feel like there's not much, talk and liveliness, fooling around, stuff like that before the game to keep guys loose. Lottie was a big part of that. And now they're 1-10 and, 6 or 7 games below 500, almost at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Power plays just going down 0 for 31, I believe, since the start of March. So, you add all those kind of things up. You're giving up 7 against the Chicago Blackhawks. You can't stop a puck. It's going downhill here for the Flyers, unfortunately. And they're in the midst of this rebuild. And, hopefully it ends up being a high draft pick and they can kind of make some strides in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and start chipping away, right? Lawton is a guy that I think he made a good point about just keeping the room light. And there's so much value in like being a good room guy and like having a team. You played with him early in his career. Like, what do you take away from him? What kind of guy was he? What kind of player?
He was great. Yeah. He lived in my house during training camp when he was 18. He didn't make the team that year. He went back to junior, but he got just he was kind of one of those guys that I gravitated to. Excuse me. When I was 27 years old, he was an 18-year-old kid. I'm like, this guy's a really, really good kid, and he's going to have a good career. And he's been up and down the lineup, his whole career. Second line power play. Yeah, penalty kills with the best of them. And, I know it hasn't been the best start for him in Toronto. You grow up being a Leafs fan and you're there, in the middle of this playoff push here and the bright lights of all the media and new guys. I know he knows Craig Berube really well from Philadelphia here, but, it seems like he's just a little hesitant, I think, out there. He's kind of watching instead of, just reacting and going and killing plays like he's done his whole career. So, I think, when you get traded too, you look at the team that you just played for 12 years. It's, 8 games away, now it's here today. So there's going to be a lot. He's an emotional guy too. Love the guy. So for him to probably get this game over with playing the Flyers, his old team, this is going to be, hopefully a turning point for him and the Leafs to get him going and make a real run here the last 10 games or so.
It's almost like he cares too much, if that makes sense. And everything you just illustrated, the fact that it's his hometown team, he's from nearby Oakville. But I also believe in what you're saying, that I think this will help to get this game out of the way and play your former team. But when Scott Laughton is on top of his game, what is he doing right?
Yeah, he's a great centerman. He's always in great position. He's got some sick hands on him too. He scores some nasty goals, a great shot. And I think he does bring, value to a room, right? I'm not sure of the room, in Toronto. I don't really know many guys. My agent, they have Matthew Nyes. He's been a heck of a player here for you guys. I think he's, one of 3 guys, I think, with 125 hits and 25 goals. And the other 2 are Matthew Tkachuk and Tom Wilson. So he's in some pretty awesome company there. But As for the room, I don't know, how he fits in yet. And it's a learning out process too, right? And you hope it just kind of clicks naturally right away. But, for Lottie's, getting his feet wet there with the guys, and hopefully it turns the corner for him and the team too.
Yeah, and obviously there's some familiarity there with Craig Berube, right? A guy you played for, a guy I got to know. He was my assistant in St. Louis. Like, what way does he run his teams? Like, because we've seen a big difference in the way the Leafs have played this year under Craig, and we know he's a demanding guy. But like, what's your perspective of the way that Craig Berube runs a team?
He's no nonsense. He's a funny guy. He's got the driest sense of humor. I think you guys see it, with the media where, he'll make a lighthearted comment, at a stupid question asked to him right away. Guys around the room, he'll chirp guys, right? Just his career, you respect what he's saying and how he's running things. So I think they've been a lot more defensive, reliable, in their own end. The structure's been there this year, and I think that's going to help, come playoff time, where you need to have that structure to rely on instead of just kind of running and gunning. So, and then, but just how he treats the guys, he's not like a Torts where he's going to, rip you up and down, but he's going to hold you responsible for how you've been playing and all that kind of stuff, which guys need, but probably in more of a lighthearted kind of funny way. Just, he does one of the funniest things he'd always say to us, he's like, you're skating on the forecheck, you're skating 200 feet, you dump it in the corner there, you're going after the D-man, and you skate so hard, and then you blow snow on him, and you go, boop, with your hip, you just like barely touch him, and you're just like, oh my God, that's pretty funny what he just said. So, gets a good laugh from guys like that when he's telling those fun stories.
Loves his north-south hockey, and should reference as well, the Leafs coming off a bit of a shit show on Saturday at a place as well in Nashville, where they're up 2-love. Laughton scores 3-0. They call it back to a high stick, and then the Preds score 5 unanswered. So the Leafs come back home, and Berube rips into the team at practice, stops practice. Is that a card that coaches can only use so much? And Craig Berube, is that something he did a lot?
Yeah, not a lot, that's for sure. But when when he's snapping and when he's calling guys out, calling the effort out of the team, that's when you know that you got to have a little wake up call. Snapping the fingers in your face, splash some water in your face, and just to kind of recheck everyone to be like, hey, we're the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're a good stinking hockey team. We got to play the right way. We can't kind of cruise through games and win with our skill. You got to grind it out. You got to play the right way, and I think when it gets away from that a little bit, Chief does a great job of reeling guys in for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's any veteran guy, right? Obviously, Hartsey, you played around, you played for so many teams, had a long career, you've been around. When you look at this Toronto team and this core, obviously they get a lot of noise, right? There's, Mitch Marner's contract and what's going on with Matthews. Do you see this team being able to get over the hump, right? They've added a few guys. They put Carlo on the back end. They're getting good goaltending this year. What do you potentially see from this Toronto team come playoff time? Because I think that's the main worry in the land of hockey here.
Yeah, I want to, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but the last couple of years, they've kind of been in that 2-3 spot, right? So they know who they're playing. Mm-hmm. And this year they have a chance to get that number 1 spot. So, try and finish as high as possible. That means you're playing, these games that actually mean something. You want to get that first round, so you're not playing a Tampa or a Florida, right? Probably Tampa. So you're playing maybe a little bit easier of a team. The Sens, I know they've been playing hot, but that would be a cool matchup, Toronto and the Sens. So, but it doesn't really matter who you play. You got to beat a good team, but to play those games to kind of, here's our goal right now. 10 games left. Let's shoot for the moon right here. Let's beat these teams in the Atlantic. Get the first round, whatever it is, and make things happen that way. So have that goal, try and achieve that thing, and then just keep on rolling in playoffs. So I'm cheering. Lottie's one of the good guys. Scott Laughton is one of the good guys in the NHL, and so I'm hoping for him to make a big run here this year.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Anybody I've spoken to, even Rosie, who played with him in Philadelphia as well, just talks to the world about this. Yeah, he says hi, by the way, man. What do you remember about him?
Oh, he's one of the funniest teammates, man. He was, talking about keeping things light, when you're at the rink or in a grind or whatever, and then when he steps on the ice, he's a different animal, man. But had some great times with him in the summertime out in the Okanagan as well, and always one of those guys where he talks, you you immediately have a smile on your face, which is awesome.
Yeah, I was kind of sandwiched in between you in Nashville my 3 years there. You were there before. I got a chance. We were down in Nashville this weekend, so I got to catch up with Pete Rogers, Walker,
Yep.
Partner. I got to see Partner. I know Partner was your boy, but Calle Jarnkrok. You got a chance to play with Calle Jarnkrok. I spent 3 years with him, and I'm always like raving about how good he is as a Swiss Army knife, his skill level. Again, just trying to break it down for Leafs fans. Like, what does this guy bring? Because he's one of those guys that I feel like everyone's always wanting a bit more in Toronto.
He's so probably his best attribute for me is he's so competitive, right? He battles on the faceoffs. He wants to be first on the pucks, on forechecks. Very responsible in his defensive zone. He's got a heck of a shot. He's just one of those guys that it's not. I'm trying to think here, who like a Brad Marchand, like one of those guys, elite guys, but he's just a step below him, but does everything really, really well. Penalty kills, all that kind of stuff. And I played with him probably a bunch of games there, actually. And it's just like, I love giving him the puck because I knew he was going to go to the net. That's where I always was, right? So I knew he was going to have a chance to score, me screen for him, me get some tips, all that kind of stuff. So I really liked playing with him because he has the skill to make those plays in tight as well. And just a really great guy too, and a little known fact: he probably knows every single word of a Garth Brooks concert. We went to Garth Brooks concert, and he knew every stinking word for a guy from Sweden. I was like, "Holy man, you know more than me!" I loved Garth Brooks growing up. So,
wow, that's sick. I would never put country music and Sweden together. And I should just wrap by saying we were over down in Nashville this past weekend, Rosie, Hutz, and I, and we're still feeling it. Lower Broadway always gets you, eh?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, Hartsey, thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy it tonight, okay?
All right, cheers, guys. I'm not sure if I'm cheering for Leafs or Flyers for a better draft lottery or for Lottie to get a goal and get going. So
we'll see what happens. See you, bud.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.